Hello and welcome to TeachUp, where we show you how to do well on the AP Calculus test fast. Today we'll do the following problem. Given y is equal to x to the fourth power minus 6x to the third power minus 60x squared plus 9, for which of the following values of x does the graph of y have a point of inflection? Now we have to remember the point of inflection is a point where the graph goes from concave up to concave down or from concave down to concave up. So that would be, if we want to look at it graphically, for example, it could occur here where the graph goes from having a downward concavity to having an upward concavity. So here what we have is y double prime, the second derivative is going to be negative. And when the graph is concave up, the second derivative is going to be positive. Now, the point of inflection is going to be where you're going to have that concavity change, and that's where the second derivative is going to be equal to 0. So what we're going to do is just find the second derivative of this function and set it equal to 0 and see what values of x will satisfy that. So let's go ahead and excuse me, this happens a lot. So, okay, let's go back. So let's go ahead and find the first derivative of this function. So it's going to be y prime is equal to 4 times x to the third power minus 6 times 3x to the second power minus 60 times 2x. And it's going to be helpful to just keep these coefficients the way they are, because later on, since this is a polynomial function, if we want to set it equal to 0, it just would be easier to have the coefficients already factored out. It would be easier. So let's just go ahead and do it and see. So now doing the second derivative, we're going to have 4 times 3x to the second power minus 6 times 3 times 2x minus 60 times 2. Now what we want to do is we want to set this equal to 0 and solve. Like I mentioned earlier, it's easier for me to just see that I have here 4 times 3, which is 12. I also have 6 times 2, which is 12. And inside of 60, I can factor out a 12. So 60 is the same thing as 12 times 5. Therefore, I have a common factor of 12, which I'm going to factor out. I'm going to have 12 times x squared minus 3x minus over there, that last term has 5 times 2, which is going to be 10. And we're going to set this equal to 0. Now, x squared minus 3x minus 10 equals 0. We can just factor this quickly. I'm going to have x and x. We need to find two numbers that multiply to negative 10 and add to negative 3. So the factors of negative 10 are 1 and 5, 1 and 10, 2 and 5. And out of those choices, 2 and 5 should work. So I'm going to have a negative 5 here and a positive 2. Again, negative 5 times 2 will give me a negative 10. And when I add them, I do get a negative 3. That means x must equal 5 or x must equal negative 2. So there are 2 points of inflection, but the only one that's given as in my choices would be C, 5. So that would be our final answer.